Hey everyone, finished watching the next VR Troopers episode, Virtually Powerless. This was actually a really good episode. I was surprised. I was not expecting like a late season 1 episode of VR Troopers to be this good. So the troopers are at an arcade playing Smash TV from the looks of it. This man shows up and encourages them to try out a new game, Dark Odyssey. The man is actually one of Grimlord's minions. Grimlord decides on which monster to send. Slice and Dice volunteer, and like before, they just can't keep from arguing. He sends out Dice by himself, hoping that by himself he won't argue with the other one and ruin everything. JB plays Dark Odyssey, getting really into it. Suddenly, a jolt of electricity shoots out from the game, shocking the troopers. They go out to tell the man from earlier that something's wrong with his arcade machine, and suddenly he turns into a scug and then multiplies into a whole bunch of scugs. The troopers try to transform, but their virtualizers are fried from the shock. At Hart's lab, the troopers figure out what happened to their virtualizers. Hart tells them that he can't fix them, it needs to be done hands-on. Caitlin has an idea. She takes her virtualizers to Dr. Poindexter. Holy crap, I did not expect to see him back ever. He showed up in one episode pretty early on and then disappeared, and he was never mentioned again, so cool. Welcome back, dude. He goes around showing the troopers his new inventions. The troopers reveal their true identities to him, but he isn't quite sure he believes them. Grimlord orders Decimator to kidnap the doctor. Professor Hart leads Dr. Poindexter through the process of repairing the virtualizers through one of the troopers' communicators. After he finishes Ryan, they drive out to test it. It works. Ryan tries out his abilities while the doctor watches, but suddenly he's ambushed by a bunch of skugs and kidnapped. Ryan's distracted by a group of Grimlord's monsters. The skugs take Poindexter to a warehouse where he receives a message from Grimlord. Grimlord demands to know everything he knows about the troopers, and if he doesn't tell him, the skugs place him on a conveyor belt, which is slowly going towards this fiery portal that will do, I don't know. Professor Hart tells the troopers where the doctor's being held. Ryan goes to rescue him. Caitlin and JB want to help, but their virtualizers are still inoperable. Ryan fights Dice, but he can't get past him, and time is running out. Caitlin and JB decide to rescue Dr. Poindexter themselves, with or without their powers. Caitlin and JB fight their way past the skugs and save the doctor. Ryan realizes that his virtualizer is still recovering, and that's why he's having trouble beating Dice. Then he receives a message from his father, and it gives him the confidence to finally defeat Dice. Dr. Poindexter finishes repairing the virtualizers, and he gets really excited and wants to tell his whole family who the troopers really are. So JB uses a mind wipe device from Professor Hart on him. And then he goes around showing the troopers his new inventions again, which is a kind of funny moment, I guess. This was a really good episode, like really good. Everything came together well, and we even got a recurring character. Or two if you count Dice. The arcade was a unique setting, and they got some fun gags in there with Jeb playing games. I like that Slice and Dice still argue, their characters are consistent, even though their body language still doesn't really show them arguing, but I do like that they kept that bit of their personalities. The fight scenes in this episode are really fun. I really like the older Saban shows that had actual martial artists who could do their own fight scenes. They remind me of like old martial art flicks, like Bruce Lee stuff. The reason for the troopers to split up was pretty clever here. The one oddity is, why does Ryan go so far away to test out his virtualizer? Like, he could have just done it in the building. I guess maybe he's afraid it could explode or something, and it could hurt someone? I don't know. Also kind of weird, JB and Caitlin don't go with them. Seems like they could have been some help, like even if their like virtualizers were still damaged, why didn't they go with Ryan and Poindexter? We could have gotten another cool fight scene in there. Ryan's battle with Dice is cool, but the resolution is really weird. It seems like Ryan has to find a way to keep Dice from using his spear, because while Ryan is fighting Dice, Dice keeps his spear, like, right out, and it keeps Ryan at a distance, so Ryan can't use any close attacks. But that's not how it's resolved. He gets a message from his father, and that just gives him confidence, and then he defeats Dice. I really thought there was going to be some, like, Ryan would have to develop a strategy to, like, knock the spear out of the way, which is what he does. Ryan's father coming up to give him a message, it's never brought up again. It's just a weird thing that happens. And that combined with Dr. Poindexter's return really makes me think, was this like, was this intended to be like a season finale type of thing? Because a lot of big stuff happens here. Dr. Poindexter is a welcome return. I like him. He's utilized well, but there's two major issues. When the Scugs hold him in the warehouse and they place him on the conveyor belt, I don't know what compels him to stay on the conveyor belt. He's not strapped down, he's not tied up. The only, like, really vague implication is, I guess Grimlord uses some kind of force to keep him there? But even then, like, I'm really not sure exactly why does he just lay there? The other thing weird with Poindexter is the ending. I would have preferred if he remained as like a regular recurring ally to the troopers. Have him retain his knowledge of who they are. For whatever reason, they didn't want to do that. Instead, yeah, wipe his memory. And it's like, it's handled okay here, but... And I mean, for a minor character like this, I'm guessing he's not coming back again. It's fine, but... I don't know, maybe it was a thing behind the scenes, like if maybe his actor wasn't going to come back, or maybe he was, maybe they didn't know if he was coming back or not, so they made the decision, if he's not coming back, wipe his memory. If he is coming back, leave his memory alone. That's all I can guess. And it made me remember other mind wipe things in Power Rangers in When is a Ranger Not a Ranger from Mighty Morphin. Bulk and Skull get their memories erased after witnessing the Rangers' true identities. They lose their immediate memories in a heroic act defending the Rangers of their own choice. That works. A lesser instance of memory erasure was in the SPD team-ups with Dino Thunder. In the first one, the Dino Thunder Rangers have their memories erased, so they won't remember the future. Alright, like, I don't like it, but it's fine, I guess. The second one is a lot stupider, where the SPD Rangers, as well as the Dino Thunder Rangers, have their memories erased. Okay, so that just kind of renders the entire episode pointless. Nobody remembers any of the events that went on here, except maybe Zeltrax, I think. So yeah, overall, this VR Trooper episode was a really pleasant surprise. So many of these late Season 1 episodes have been bland and routine, but this one was a well-paced little adventure, and I'm hoping the rest of Season 1 can live up to it. So yeah, that's it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. See ya.